A very warm welcome to you all to the one-on-one set. Our guest tonight is an author, Suvan Sharma Duku. He has written a book titled True Love, Mindful Myth. Tonight, we are going to learn more about this young writer and his love for writing. Suvan, thank you so much for joining us in the studio of the MBC.
Thank you for your invitation today evening. And it is with great pleasure that I'm going to talk about my passion for my book and the repercussions of writing in one's life.
Suvan, prose and poetry is a form of literature that uses aesthetic and rhythmic qualities of language to express feelings or even to evoke an idea. It is a type of literature that can speak more than any other literary works than drama or even novels because it creates a talking picture of something. What does prose and poetry represent to you?
Well, you said a lot about what we feel about art, about drama and novels. Life itself is a form of art, and each and every one of us has capabilities, has certain perception about how we live. And we feel on a day-to-day basis, be it love, be it emotions, be it good factor, humility, and the bliss of living when the heart beats. When we talk about writing, it's bringing the feelings to a synergy of words, to a synergy of expressing what we feel towards one another, towards our surroundings, and overall about how we wish to create that compassion of being grateful to have a life, to have a living as human beings, which we can do a lot about it.
Poetry, I feel, is like pure feelings that is translated into words, and it has that effect to influence others as well, right?
Yes, this is a great word, to influence others. How far can we influence our peers? How far can we influence our surroundings to take legitimate actions of how we feel, how we express, how to voice out our concerns, how to voice out our deepest emotions, and bring the best out of each and every one who we come across or whom we expect to bring in our lives.
Suvan, is creative writing, poetry writing a passion that you have developed since childhood?
Childhood has been a mix of everything, like each and every one of us. We go through a lot of emotions, we go through a lot of scenarios, we achieve a lot of milestones. And when we talk about writing, it brings us back to the roots, it brings us to who we are and where do we belong. We always talk about going home after work. And home is anything where we feel loved, we feel valued, and we feel respected for who we are. And creative writing, it brings together all these under one perception, which is poetry or even prose writing.
I feel that writing is a therapy. You don't need to write a novel or poetry, but just the simple act of taking a pen and to start writing about your emotions can sometimes be so liberating.
Once somebody said, a pen is mightier than the sword. And when that phrase was uttered, a pen can bring the best out of the moment, or even if we are going through a downfall, we are going through something that's not good, a bad phase of life, take your pen, sit somewhere, go somewhere you love, write it. It can be written into words, into few mere points. Write, liberate yourself, liberate your heart. When the heart speaks, the mind feels alleviated. The synergy between heart and mind, maybe. Writing is a bridge to these two, which unfortunately since today we are still trying to figure out. And that is why I got a chapter in my book, Mathematical Bliss of Life, the formula of living, and maybe someday we will find the answer to this question.
That was indeed beautiful. Suvan, you have actually published your first book, like we have mentioned, True Love, Mindful Myth. It is a collection of prose and poems, and the themes revolve around love, growth, attachment, identity. What motivated you to write about these themes?
Well, since birth, I've come across many circumstances, mainly due to my disability or how I have grown. At times it was through bullying, at others it was through achievement. We barely talk about the bullying or the bad phases of life.
Yes.
But it is these bad phases that brings the best out of us. When we talk about growth, you need that challenge of life. You need that obstacle, that hindrance to set the pace. And when we talk about set the pace, you need to love yourself. You need to love your abilities. You need to learn about your capabilities. And I am proud of my disability because my disability is my identity.
Exactly.
And my growth revolves about my disability and how I can bring out inclusion and accessibility for persons with disabilities. This is why we have a book today and bringing many emotions, bringing many creative content. It may be erratic because we talk about love in one chapter and others we talk about challenges. And then one chapter we talk about growth and the other chapter we talk about hindrance, like I said. But it is important. This is what living is made up of. It got any sort of variables which we need to coax and we need to share between our peers, our family, and most importantly with ourselves. We need to start understanding that life is not always a symphony, life is not always blissful, and it is this point of life where we set the next chapter, we set the next achievement we seek. It will not always happen how we think about it, how we perceive it. This is what makes it beautiful. Where you do the turnaround, where you revamp yourself, and where you understand that it is not happening today. Yes, it will take time, it will take more opportunities. Create your own possibilities. Empower the next person, empower that next human to you. And it may not, we talk about friendship. Yes, friendship is important, but it is also important to learn that not everyone is our friend. And still, we need to bring out the best of each and every one. Friendship is definition, yes, but it is your actions that make it a legitimate perception about where you seek to bring yourself in a few years' time. If you set your identity now, your capabilities will speak about you and for you when you're not around.
Yes, I think that the themes that you have talked about in your book are quite universal, and we have all gone through all this stuff in our life. I mean, we have all known failures, we have all kinds of attachments, but what's beautiful on what you have written is that we need to be aware in the moment and be grateful for where we are because the best will always come.
The best, it's always there.
Yes,
Like you
exactly.
said,
It's
the
always
best,
there.
it's always there, it's always, because it is human perception, it's human nature to seek out for the best, to expect, to feel emotions, to feel attachment. We are attached to many things. Like today, we are attached to the moment of being on a beautiful show. And thank you for being such an amazing host.
Thank you.
And we are attached to what we see, to what we allow ourselves to think about. We are in a revolving world. We talked a lot about misconceptions, about how COVID has impacted. Yes, COVID has been a chapter of our lives. It has made us think about how things can work around, and things we have never thought about before, about how we can be grounded. Yes, so this book talks about being grounded emotionally. It talks about being in your darkest phases. The sun is always there. There's always a ray of hope. The shooting star will sparkle your life. You need to believe. You need to venture for new frontiers. Life is just a lagoon. And we also got the high seas. We also got typhoons. We got cyclones. But the turquoise blue lagoons, it's always there. Make yourself shine. Be that blistering star set for new galaxies.
Suvan, when did it click to you that you want to write a book?
Well, writing somehow. It started after one of my numerous surgeries back in 2005. It was after post-surgery, waking up post-surgery, 24 hours post-surgery. And there was emotions. Emotions were there. It's not always easy to come back after a few mishaps. I thought about how things can be, about how I can express myself, how I can set a new cover. I set a new cover of a margin of the slim margin of the mishap and the opportunity. Then in 2013, I set up my blog. And I started writing about those feelings that have been there, that margin, that cover for new chapters, the cover or chapter of life. When we talk about cover, we barely talk about cover. Cover is that shield we set for ourselves. It is important to lend, to give that shield to someone else, because many of us are delicate. We are delicate on how we think, and many of us don't really feel empowered to voice out. Maybe writing is a shield, maybe it's a cover for someone else, and I really hope that this book is a cover for someone else to use as a trampoline, to use as a stepstone for the next chapter, because we need more of empowerment, we need more of human compassion, we need more of legitimate friendship, because emotions are pure, it's just that we need to voice it out the right way. And if we talk about the charm of life, we just got to cherish the charm.
I think that as an author, when you were writing this book, it might have been like a healing process for you, like you are translating your emotion into words, but to the readers, that piece of writing may represent a sign of hope, right?
Exactly. You said an amazing word, the riddle. Riddle have always been there since history. We have been through so many beautiful pieces of history, so many beautiful anecdotes. Like Mark Twain's one said, heaven were emanated from the beauty of Mauritius. We live in such a beautiful island. We are a republic. I invite our people, I invite our citizens. We are a republic. Make the most out of it. We got opportunities. We got so many. And so many authorities, so many institutions. It is important to grab opportunities. It is important to grab what we feel. I'll talk a lot about feeling because not many of us grab our feelings. Go for it. Set the experience. Embrace challenges. It is life is beautiful. Yes, it is beautiful to go through chaos. Make that chaos worth it. A typhoon is important. It will crumble you down. It's important to go down. Because when we go down, this is where we set ourselves, we set our head high. You need failures. You need that bad thing. You need to wake up. It may be a happy Friday or a Monday shark. Monday is beautiful because Monday, this is where we really think about it. It's going to be a good week. Yes, we can make it a good week. You can make a better version of yourself. You can empower. You can, each and every one of us can. We can, because we barely talk about possibilities.
You have actually chosen an interesting title for your book. It is a True Love Mindful Myth. Why did you choose that title?
True love. We have been through it. We have spoken about love in movies, in life. On a tous dit je t'aime maman, je t'aime papa. Et for me, it's my parents. My parents are the two pillars for who I am today. Had it not been the sacrifices of my father and the resilience and the willpower of my mother, I would not have been here today. If one need to be grateful, I need to be grateful for something, it's my parents. The true love of my parents. I was born with multiple disabilities, but my parents embraced me, empowered me, and set the right framework for me to grow. True love, I experienced true love through my parents. True love of not finding my parkour, of not finding my landmark, of not having had acquaintances, of being judged. But my parents have been there through each and every wave, through each and every tide, through each and every scenario. They have been the rainbow after the storm. They have been that helping hand when I went crumbling down. They have been that mountain that have been the shield to so many prejudices, to so many questions always, to so many judgmental
They've been your
chapters.
companion.
they have been just everything. They have been just the right framework. If I've had luck in life, I've been lucky to be the son of individuals, two grateful individuals who shaped me today. And parenting is so wonderful. Parenting is a science, and my parents are the formula to the art I am today.
Subban, love is actually a very common theme in poetry or even in novels. Many people have different views on love, and many of these views have been explored throughout the ages. However, you have chosen to explore the different facets of love in your book. Why have you chosen to talk about love as the main motif in your book and explore those different facets? What is your perspective on that?
Like I said, my parents showed me true love. My parents showed me the love of being who I am. I'm embracing my difference. I'm embracing my disability and setting pace for my ability. And true love is about being real, to show realism to oneself. When we talk about love, love is just a formula, and we need to understand the moment. When we understand the moment, this is where magic happens. We talk about magic in love. Magic in love is about that happiness we feel. I'm a lot into charity, into social work. And when we do legitimate action, we don't expect anything. We don't expect to be recognized. We don't expect to be showcased. True love is when that mind feels the warmth of your heart. When you feel that warmth, you feel that rumbling down your back. You feel your spine set alive. You feel the thrill of setting yourself forward to embrace, like we said earlier, challenges, failures, opportunities, happenings, accomplishment. True love is a myth. It's a myth which we need to define. When we talk about myth, we talk about anything that can be a possibility, anything that can be anything yet nothing, and that nothing, it is us as an individual, as a group, as a community, as a republic, which need to give it an identity.
True love is also the way that we feel for ourselves. I think that's the most important thing, right?
The love we feel for ourselves. It's very simple, like you said, the love we feel for ourselves, yet it is very complex. What is the love we feel for ourselves? How do we express the love we feel for ourselves? The complexity, differing personalities, differing emotions. We can be happy in the morning, we can be angry in the evening. And like our family, I fight a lot with my parents, yet we feel a lot of compassion, we feel a lot of bonding. And love is about the simplicity of things, yet the complexity of living. If we manage to find the right point, the median, should be good.
Subban, how was your creative process for writing True Love, Mindful Myth?
A lot of multiple feelings, because when we write, we barely think about what we are doing. We are just writing. We are feeling the emotions. We are feeling the happiness, the sadness. We are feeling the joy. We are feeling the breakdown. We are feeling the chaos. We are also feeling about how we can remember ourselves. When we write, we think about decisions. We take decisions. It's like many of us say we take the best decisions in life when we embrace failure. When we write, we are writing for therapy. We are writing to feel. And when we feel, we understand what we are really feeling. Because to put it into words, we are thinking. And when we think, we are able to take decisions. We are able to set a new frontier. Taking decisions has never been easy. Be it for anybody, simple decisions, doing groceries, or strategic decisions that will impact your country, will impact your organization. It's never easy because life is full of uncertainty, and emotions are volatile. If we mix volatility and uncertainty, we get maybe creative writing.
One interesting thing that I have noticed in your book is that the cover of your book bears the image of a horse, and that's beautiful. But why did you choose that image? I mean, normally horse represents some kind of power, or even it has kind of majestic personality. Why did you choose a horse as your cover?
Like I said earlier, the willpower of my mother has made me who I am today. She is a lady of true power, a lady of elegance, a lady of true stature, of true allure. And when we talk about the horse, the horse, there are two horses. One of them is P.S. Love and Kisses, and the second one is P.S. I Love You. P.S. Love and Kisses is my equestrian horse since I do equitherapy. And she is my first love, if I can say so. We spend a lot of time, and when we talk about horses, horses are symbolical to when we talk about sensuality, we talk about femininity, because a lady can be very, 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 very powerful when she sets her mind. She sets her mind on her sensuality of being elusive. We talk about a lady being blissful. A lady can be elusive through her elegance. Elegance, it's magic. A lady can be magical. A lady can be the warrior who has come off the war. When we talk about after war, it's not about going on to war like we think about it. It's about having been through challenges, having been through the worst kind of emotions, yet you set the crown on your head, bright shining, because as a lady, as a woman out there, women need to understand that they are full of opportunities, they are full of so many magnificent things they can do. Bring out the best out of yourself. Mix your allure with your elegance, mix your allure with your willpower, because, like I said, my mother has done such a wonderful art bringing her family together. My mom is that star, that northern star, that pole star, which we all think, which all so many sailors look after to set their journey. My mother, she sets my journey alive. So maybe the horse is the right thing for this book when we talk about true love and the mindful myth. The perception about horses being just athletes, no, they are not just athletes, they are very compassionate, they are full of so many therapeutic goodness. And I really hope that one day equitherapy comes as a legitimate therapy in Mauritius.
Subhan, you are truly a very inspiring person. But now, what would you like to tell our youngsters, maybe to encourage them to read the book, also to advise them to live the life that they have always dreamt of?
Life we have dreamt of. That's a strong phrase. Thank you for this one. This might be a next chapter. And all of us, we have dreams, we have aspirations, we have perception, we aspire. We need to inspire ourselves to aspire for more. And our youth, well, it has not been, I'm not very happy with how things have been, because our youth can do so many things, we can do so much. The history of Mauritius has been emanating from youth. The youth at that time in 1930, 1960, 1980, they have put themselves forward to lead. To lead, for example. Today we have social media, we have tools for us to communicate. Make the maximum use of it. Use your minimum ability that you can. If each one of us has abilities, but unfortunately we don't endorse abilities, we don't endorse skills. Education is important, academic pursuit is important. We got so much. It is important to be creative, it is important to understand, it is important to be well groomed, it is important to be well aware of protocols of living, to be well aware of how we ought to conduct ourselves. Our behavior is symbolical to our identity. And identity, it evolves. It evolves with us evolving, it evolves with our opportunities, it evolves with the next best thing that is happening in life. When we dream about good things. But when we live, it's about us, it's our responsibility to make good things come true.
Thank you so much, Subhan. It was such a pleasure to have you on the Seta One-on-One and talk about true love, a mindful myth.
Thank you.
Dear viewers, we have now come to the end of this episode. Thank you so much for your time. We hope to catch you next week at the same time, same channel. Have a great evening.